Now, police are looking for the pair of robbers behind a smash-and-grab robbery at a Chanel store on the Upper East Side. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate live outside the store on Madison Avenue with the details for us. Phil.
Yeah, Charlene, right now an active investigation is underway to find the two men who police say smashed the front window of the Chanel store just right behind me and got away with around $30,000 worth of merchandise. That window this morning all boarded up, and hopefully at some point today it will be restored. Well, let's get straight to some video right now. This was at the scene around 7 last night here on Madison Avenue. While the damage left behind is just eye-opening, police were canvassing the area both in and out of the luxury store, just trying to recover surveillance video and looking for any clues that would help them to determine who's behind this store robbery. Now, 3 purses were stolen, valued at $10,000 each, and for neighbors, they aren't too happy to see this happen right on their doorstep.
Maybe it's because it's a dangerous crime wave and people are really experiencing that even on 64th and Madison. Maybe it's just a random occurrence. Someone wants a nice bag from a Chanel. In either case, it's obviously not a good thing to see if you live in the...
Does he look high to y'all? There's something off with his eyes. I just don't understand what's going on. Do my eyes look like that? There's something... Let me just zoom in on him real quick. Just look at his eyes. I don't know, team. He could be perfectly fine. I could just be Do y'all see the same thing I'm seeing? Does he just look like he's off some type of... He just doesn't look like he's just sober. His eyes are white, though. His pupils, around his pupils, are really white, though. I'll give him that much. Very strange.
The area?
Now, there are surveillance cameras overhead. Police do tell us that the two men were able to get away on foot. If you're wondering what they used exactly to break that glass, that window that's now all boarded up, they used a sledgehammer. Hard to believe that this happened right here on Madison Avenue. Now, police have not made any arrests at this hour, but if anyone has any information that could help them with their investigation, you are urged to give them a call right away. We are live on the...
I mean, it's unlikely you're going to catch him. So what Chanel did was they taunted people by having $30,000 of purses literally separated by a sheet of glass. Now, it's probably plexiglass. I don't think it's just like normal glass, right? But it was weak enough for somebody to get through with a sledgehammer. And this is Chanel, right? Let's just look at where we got. This is Chanel. They cannot have burglar bars over their display. It's not to the Chanel standard to have burglar bars over their display. So they got to just go with straight glass. And, the criminal said, you know what? We can get through this with a sledgehammer in a few seconds. We don't even have to make entry into the store. Now, if you look up here in the corner, they do have cameras. There's camera right here. So they got footage of the crime happening. I don't know where the camera looks at exactly. It's hard to tell. It might not actually look exactly at the product in there. Or maybe it does. I guess it depends on if there's something between the camera and the bags, like a board right there under the Chanel sign. So that's hard to tell, but at least they can look at the street and see. Now, you seen the cop over here. It was funny. You see him trying to, hold on. Look how they're inspecting everything. I guess they are looking, though, because, things could happen. Like, a person could reach in there and then maybe his watch falls off his wrist down there and then he can't get it out because they only busted the glass about maybe this big. And I'm thinking that when they pulled the purses out, there's a good chance they scratched and marked them up when they had to yank them out that glass because it didn't just shatter completely. They had to keep hitting it with the sledgehammer and just kind of created a circle. So, they are looking for possible DNA evidence because when you reach your hand in there, you can get cut by the glass. If they're smart, if they were prepared, they would have big, thick gloves. Maybe not big, thick gloves, but they have leather gloves on and then all the way up their arm so they don't get cut reaching in there. They reach in there with their bare hands, and there's a good chance they could have left DNA in there. And then you see the cops, they're kind of looking around for evidence. He's looking at this trash can right here. I don't know what he's thinking that he'll find. Possibly, though, the criminals, had they not been wearing gloves, maybe when they're preparing a sledgehammer, pulling out their backpack or something, they might have rested their palm on the garbage can, and then maybe you got fingerprints there. Now remember, there is a camera up there that is looking in that general direction. This camera right here is kind of looking right where that trash can is, so you know they could be looking for fingerprints there. And if they got that on camera, then they'll be able to see that the criminal rested their hands on that trash can. They can lift the prints and then possibly get an ID on the suspect. If their prints are in the system and somebody that did this has probably been through the jail system at least once, so then you can recover that. But people got to remember, like, your prints, the only way the police can match your prints is if you've ever had them put into the system. So you'd had to have been arrested and have your prints lifted by the cops and then put into the database. But if you've never went to jail, your prints, it doesn't mean anything. You can leave your fingerprints everywhere. The only way they're ever going to be able to match you up to a crime is if you ever get arrested and they have your prints. Then they'll match you up to past crimes or current crimes. So that's one thing we always got to remember. Like, my mother has never, ever been to jail. She's never been close to doing anything that's criminal. So, like right now, if the undirected mom wanted to go ahead and just be like, you know what, I'm just going to commit crime, bare hands, leave my fingerprints, they got nothing to trace it back to. So that's something to think about. $30,000 in purses. This is my question, team. This is my question. And I know what y'all are going to say. Well, it doesn't matter. It's about what people will pay, and that's the price. But I really want to know how much it costs for them to make a $10,000 bag. Like, what's the actual production cost? Labor and materials included. I'm pretty sure that the labor costs are going to be extremely low. Now, some of the higher bags might be handmade. They might be made by not made in a sweatshop in Taiwan or something like that, like where they make Nike shoes at in mass production, probably somewhere off in China. It could be made here in the United States or wherever Chanel's located at. I don't know where Chanel's from. I know that Chanel and a lot of these Louis Vuitton, Gucci, a lot of these are actually owned by the same company. I forgot the name of the company, but they're all owned by the same company. So that's interesting. Well, I don't know, team. The criminals didn't even go into the store. They just grabbed the purses out of the display. They kept their risk very minimal. And I wonder why they didn't go after this too. They technically, well, that would have been a lot harder though. Yeah, because if they'd have broke that display, they'd had to rip the clothing off that mannequin. That would have been tough. So they went path of least resistance. Because if you look right here, they do actually have gates over there. So there's no gate as far as, or you can call it burglar bars. I guess it's a gate though. So if you look right here behind the display, if you want to get into the actual store, you can't do that. But the display that's right up front, I mean, you can get to that. There's only just that plate of glass right there protecting it. So they can really like put some stronger glass in there, bulletproof glass, maybe, and then probably prevent it from happening in the future. But yeah. Getting away with $30K, which they're not going to get $30K for this. Those bags, they'll sell probably for like, the people that'll buy them will probably buy them for about 30%, maybe even 25% of their actual cost. So those $10,000 bags, I would assume they'll get anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000 from them on the, you can call it the black market, or just selling them to someone else. They're going to be hot as a firecracker as far as, walking around with them. But yeah, I mean, regardless, they call it 30,000. The criminals only see about 7,500 max. They might even sell them for less than that. And Chanel probably is losing. I'm just talking about cost and labor they're probably losing somewhere in the neighborhood of, I'm just guessing how much it would cost for them to make them bags. I think I'm on the high end when I'm saying those bags cost $1,000 to produce each. I think I'm on the high end, honestly. I don't think they cost more than $1,000 each to make those bags. But I don't know what bags they were and all that. But so they're probably losing somewhere around $3,000 to $4,000 just to replace the glass. Will probably cost about as much as one of the bags. So yeah, let's see. Let's go on direct to perspective. We are going to go light for this one. We're gonna go light. There was nobody hurt. Chanel didn't lose very much money. They'll make their money back when they sell one. If somebody goes into Chanel this morning and they decide to buy one bag for $10,000, the profit on that one bag is going to pay for the 3 bags they got stolen and the glass that they got to replace. And they'll probably have made some money. So, Chanel's doing just fine. I'm sure they don't like being robbed, and, the criminals, they committed crime. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do about it? You taunted the criminals by having your display right there and basically just, it's kind of like the steak in the treadmill. It's kind of like the steak in the treadmill. You put the steak, you hold the steak on over the treadmill, and the person's running in place like this, and they're trying to get to the steak, and no matter how fast they run, they can never get to the steak because they're on a revolving mat that keeps them stuck in place, so they're never actually advancing ahead to be able to grab the steak that's just in front of them in arm's reach. That's basically what Chanel did by putting those bags out there. A whole bunch of people that have not enough money to buy it on average have to walk by and just look at a $10,000 bag that they'll never be able to acquire. But then when they go on Instagram, they see, Kim Kardashian, Jennifer Lopez, Rihanna, Beyonce, they all got it. But you, the average person, no. The only way you get in that bag is if you put a sledgehammer through the window display of Chanel and run off with the bag. And that's all I got for this one, team. Very interesting. Not exactly. I'm out of here. Dotsale all the way out.
Goodbye.
It's weird, though. I kind of think about it like I've actually gotten a lot of designer stuff in the past. Not a lot. But the one thing I thought about when that actually happened, I've gotten Gucci belts and stuff like that. I never was into buying a whole Gucci jacket. I didn't even really, they're not even that comfortable. Gucci shoes, they suck. They feel terrible on your feet. I'm an athlete. I like to have things that I feel good in that protect my body, and Gucci shoes don't do that. They almost feel cheaply made to me, even though that they're really expensive. Maybe not even Gucci. I had Balenci's before, Gucci. I had a couple other ones. I stopped buying all that designer stuff. But my thing was this. It didn't feel like it increased my quality of life to have those things. I feel like wearing this shirt right here or having a shirt that says Amiri across it changes nothing for me whatsoever. I honestly, personally, wearing jewelry, fancy designer stuff, which I've done in the past, it didn't even increase. Because a lot of guys, they'll say they'll do it for the women and stuff. It didn't even increase that for me. The same women in a Walmart shirt that I would get in a Gucci shirt. Maybe it might be a little different, but I didn't notice a difference personally. I never had any problem getting women based off of anything that I wore, right? I have impeccable hygiene and my stuff is clean, but I just don't think having Balenciaga or Louis Vuitton across my chest and advertising for these companies like a walking billboard is really helping me in any way. So I don't know. That's all I got, team. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the best audience on YouTube. I almost forgot to acknowledge y'all, team. I appreciate y'all. All right, I'm out for real.